It's DFS time again, so we can try to secure ourselves some cash money from our fantasy football and opinions in week 2. And we're going to be having a look at our options for both Fantasy Game Day here in the UK, but also DraftKings price lines for our American viewers. Let's start off with that top game line, though, Ed.
Yes, top game line. The Bengals are 4 points favourites in this game. Should be a cracking game. Should be a solid game to target this week, despite both offences probably disappointing for fantasy last week. Burrow, always a sound option at quarterback. And as with last week, a stack with Chase leaves you little room for manoeuvre, but maybe a Burrow-Higgins Chase stack could pay off. Chase Brown's workload always makes him a decent consideration. He struggled a bit second half last week, but so did the Bengals offense as a whole. And he should bounce back into the top 12 this week. Remember, he will be involved in the receiving game. His price does give pause for thought. There are some better value options around, but one to consider. As Fant showed last week, a Bengals tight end can always pop up with a touchdown. So if you want to get different, maybe stacking Burrow with Gesicki or Fant could be a gamble that pays off. We're tempted by Travis Hunter. Very good value at 3,800 this week. And we'll likely use this in a lineup as he was nicely involved, could give you a solid return against this Bengals defense, who we know are struggling, to put it mildly. But we're going to come back to the Jags later, though, including our bargain basket pick of the week.
That's easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. But over to you for our other top game line.
So, I mean, this feels like the sort of game that whoever loses is going to be in the absolute trough for the start of the season. So, Bears, Lions, the line is the fact is 47.5. The Lions are 7-point favorites. So, it's the Lions side you're going to want to be targeting. After last week, it does worry me a little of whether we're actually going to hit that. I think I would confidently go for the under on this game, which is usually I'm very over optimistic. So I bet I want to see, but I think it's probably hit that. But the pricing still does give some appeal. So Williams hit QB 9 last week and is priced as a QB 19. That could be for some consideration. Not one I think I will go for though. Moore and Adunze both feel a little bit touchdown dependent at present. And with other options I like priced around DJ Moore, I think out of the two, I'm more likely to go for Adunze to save some money so I can pay up elsewhere. It's where I'm kind of feeling most confident at the moment. DeAndre Swift is a player that coming into the season, I thought I would be looking at that price and every single week would want to be going for. It's just not someone I think I can really rely on, even at that price. But he's only ever a touchdown away for the 5-yard carry from making me look stupid on that. Ed, is the Lions offense as good as it was last year now that Ben Johnson's on? It's been a question we've heard a lot this week. And
it's far too early, isn't it? I mean,
there's
so much written this week about the Lions offense, but there's some, look at that list of like Gotham and Rajay. There's some elite talent there.
It's just 1 week, and I think if we see the same this week, I'll start to panic. Same for a third week, I'm going to start to move out on these players. That's why the price looks so decent, though, because that risk is cooked into it. So Brown and Williams, they're both really temptingly priced. And if you get a return to form from either of those, you're laughing at those prices. Gibbs is and always will be on my list of potential captains, but Chicago kept Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason reasonably quiet on the ground last week. So I think if he's got a route to paying that back, it's probably going to be through his catching work out in the backfield. He's just a different beast, though, than most running backs. So you can never rule him out. But at 9,200 means it has to come off likely for you to be able to cash in if you've got him in your lineup,
isn't he? And that is because, like you say, he has the potential for a mammoth score, but that is, he has to come off at that price point, doesn't he?
If you are playing this week and you have not played before, use that promo code THFF1 to get one free play with your first paid entry. And why not use that free play to go for my stack of the week, who is Lamar Jackson, baby! And Zay.
0-1, Lamar Jackson. Sorry.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Ed. Thank you for reminding me. I have played this stack a couple of times over the last couple of years because I want it to work out. This is possibly the first time I will play it and actually feel a little bit confident about it. We all know what Lamar can do. There's no point going on about all the things that Lamar can do. Any given week, there's 40 plus points in him. That's why you're paying
Sorry,
up
can I
every single week.
interrupt?
Yeah.
Is Zay Flowers having a poo in that picture?
No, he's looking very humble and considered, ready to go about his work and score some touchdowns, Edward.
Sorry, that was slightly off topic.
Well, and actually not that off topic. There was that game a couple of years ago against the Browns where Lamar Jackson did leave the field and go for a poo. So
Yes.
we digress. I just think that Flowers looked electric last week. We've seen flashes of that over the last couple of years. If we see another top performance this week, I don't think we can get Zay Flowers at this price again. So there is a little bit of kind of wish casted from this for me, but having D-Hop there, who I love the video of him saying, "Oh, I'm washed out after that amazing one-handed catch." I think it just means that there is more for defense to think about than just Zay Flowers. It means he's going to find himself more open more often. So yeah, for me this week, I'm going for Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers stack. It could pay off massively, or Zay Flowers could disappear as we have seen previously. Who is your option for stack of the week, Ed?
Well, we're going back to last week, and we're looking, as we mentioned, we're coming back to the Jags. We're looking at T-Law and Brian Thomas Jr. It's an option, again, against that Bengals defense, as we mentioned earlier. Brian Thomas Jr., who's so consistent last season, 11 weeks, over 14.5 fantasy points. So surely last week will end up as an outlier on the season. For some reason, they are cheaper this week, £11,600. So clearly the Fantasy Gameday boys are not aware of the Bengals' pass defense. So it may be a fruitful option in week 2. I think this is a very solid stack. I'll be definitely plugging this into a couple of lineups against my Bengals because I'm hoping that both offenses kind of, it's a bit of a bun fight, and there's a big score in this game this week because I'd like that with the Bengals winning, of course.
It's interesting. They've gone down in price for Fantasy Gameday, but up slightly in DraftKings. So Fantasy Gameday obviously takes account last week, whereas DraftKings taking more into account the Bengals defense of the last 2 years. Yeah, it could well pay off and it is a tempting one. Next, we move to our secret stack. So our secret stack, remember, is a stack that is a secret because you wouldn't necessarily tell everyone you were going for because price-wise, it looks like a daft idea. Last week, I hit a home run with Danny Dimes, Tyler Warren. I felt so smug when Tyler Warren scored that touchdown. This is cost-wise in the secret stack territory. £10,000 combined is the top end of it. It just doesn't feel like an actual secret stack worthy combination for. Basically, look at it, it doesn't sound stupid. And that's what we usually go for these. But it's what I'm going to go in for because Fields is so cheap. And given what we saw just happen to the Bills defense with a mobile quarterback, it's very, very tempting. Is Fields Lamar Jackson? No. But he can move around. He was passing the ball far more confidently. The ceiling you get with the 22nd most expensive QB, so the cheapest QB this week on the slate, it's just you can't ignore that for me. Combine that with what we saw from Garrett Wilson last week, who checked out with 22.5 points and ended up as the wide receiver 7. This is a stack I am absolutely all in on. And I was I don't see a way it goes wrong. You say that and it goes wrong. It just feels like even if it doesn't quite hit the heights, you've saved enough money elsewhere to put some kind of strong pieces in play as well. I just don't feel it is very secret stacky because it seems like I think we could see quite a lot of this because of the value. So, Ed, You are doing the honours in the one that will make people raise their eyebrows at the screen instead from a secret stack point of view this week. Take it away.
Yes, we have a secreter stack this week. And that is, well, to me, I thought this was almost bordering on a no-brainer. Drake May and Stephon Diggs. Now, bear with me. Drake May, really solid week one against the Raiders. A score of 16.78 points, a score he exceeded in over half of his games last season in 7 of his 13 starts. Diggs last week got a pretty solid 11.7 points, 7 targets, no touchdown. So with a touchdown, there's a real boost to that score, obviously. Who do they have this week? They have the Dolphins this week, who looked lost on defense against the mighty Danny Dimes, admittedly, and the Colts. Surely there's a chance for May and Diggs to hit a decent score with a combined bargain cost of £9,400. So I would 100% be plugging this into a lineup or two because I think this has the potential for some decent scores and leaves me a lot of money to spend elsewhere.
The only question mark I have is
Mark.
Diggs injury.
Yes.
So I let that the return last week was absolutely solid coming off the back of that, but an ACL injury after doing a little bit of reading around it this week is usually about 4 weeks to hit full speed. After playing last week, is he? It's that set when you start moving on something. I don't know. I'm not an expert in injuries, but once again, it's baked into the price. If it comes off, you're absolutely laughing with that. So yeah, there is certainly a route to it being probable, and at that price, it's worth a little go, isn't it? At least in one of your lineups. Please do then remember to quickly give us a subscribe, a like, and a share. We're bringing you a review show, preview show, this DFS show, and Fantasy 5 each week, as well as a whole host of tasty little shorts to treat you through the week, and little bits of wisdom like our captain pick. Once again, Ed, this is one we both quite comfortable with immediately, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're being a bit repetitive.
Yeah.
Like last week, we're going for CMC. He's a great pick and gives you really solid value for your captain. He projects to be the highest scoring captain eligible player, yet he's 18th in pricing on Fantasy Gameday and the 6th most expensive running back or wide receiver on DraftKings. Surely he's the most rostered player you'd expect, but hopefully maybe some injury anxiety, Purdy question marks might put people off captaining him. So if you take that option to captain him, you will get rewarded because, without Purdy, surely he is going to get such a big workload, even though, we know he is still not 100%. But to me, he's going to be right at the heart of that San Francisco offense this week.
Yeah, I mean, he is the offense, isn't he?
He's
This
their
week,
offense,
him and
yes.
Ricky Pearsall, we could be putting as a starter week and as a player to think of as well because we're just going to pass the ball to this week. Just the fact that he's gone down in price and his role has gone up makes him a complete clear cut. I think the one thing that makes me hopeful around captaining him, and hopefully not everybody goes for that, is it's a bit of that psychology. It feels strange not putting your most expensive player as captain, doesn't it? So I'm hoping all those bits baked in might well bring his captain usage a little bit lower. We shall see. We've got, though, also a bargain basket pick for you, and it's a strange one this week because it's Brenton. Brenton Strange, 2,200, almost as cheap as it gets. The lowest player price on the week is £2,000. It's a great bargain. And from what I can work through scrolling down the depths of those prices, the cheapest tight end option, who is the tight end 1 on their team as well. He had a really solid role. He faced a faltering Bengals offense. He led Jacksonville.
I'm not really sure the Bengals offense has much to do with it.
Oh, no, that's definitely not faltering. I need to apologize to Joey B and the team. They are definitely not faltering. Well, they were last week, actually.
They were last week. Yeah,
they were last week. I take it back. Joey B is rubbish. Brett Tracy led Jacksonville in receiving last week. Will he be the highest scoring tight end? No. But he will get you around 10-ish points, I reckon. and give you room to spend up elsewhere. And that's the sort of pick that, say, really helps you build for your lineup. So Brenton Strange is a player I'm sure we're putting all over the place. Similar to last week's bargain pick, Emma Craig-Booker. Once again, little nod to us, Ed. We nailed it. That is the end of our DFS show, giving you those prices for Fantasy Game Day. And if you have not played Fantasy Game Day, please do play this week. Use the promo code THFF1 to get one free play with your first pay pick, but also those prices for consideration on DraftKings as well. Ed, I think I'm about all tuckered out with all the things we have said. Can you call our lift in for us, please?
It will be a pleasure. Malcolm, take us home.
You have been listening to the team from TH Fantasy Football. For more content, follow TH_fantasy_NFL on Twitter and Instagram.